What's going on, boys? My name is Noxx and welcome back to another video. Today we're going over the 9.0.5 patch notes for WoW Shadowlands. Pretty exciting. This is actually coming out on Tuesday, so if you guys are watching this today, which is Friday, I believe, it is a day of the week. This will be coming out in 4 days' time, so super excited. I thought this was going to come out a lot later, so let's get into it. So this is the patch notes from the official WoW forums. Again, it comes out on Tuesday, March 9th, or March 10th in the EU. And there's quite a few changes, bug fixes going on here. I'm not going to go over every little thing, but I'm just going to kind of do like a brief overview of what's going on. There's some changes to the adventure system, the WoW Facebook game system. It's cool. Looks like some of this stuff is getting buffed, so maybe these will be a little bit more balanced and you can complete that free Soul Ash mission easier. There's a changed undead cloaks, so I don't know exactly what this looks like, but I guess we'll try it out if you play Undead or Forsaken. There's going to be some changes to some Covenant abilities and some bug fixes as well. It seems as though they're fixing some they're fixing some visual issues that have existed in the beginning of the expansion. So I played on Holy Death Knight and I play A-Bomb's Limb. So when I cast A-Bomb's Limb, it is like impossible to see what's going on the ground. And if there's two unholy DKs hitting the boss, a good example is Sire Denathrius. Like if you're in that last phase and there's circles on the ground that you need to avoid after killing the ads, it's impossible to see it if you have two unholy DKs with A-Bomb's Limb going off, let alone Ashen Hollow and Swarming Mist and all that stuff. So glad that they're toning that down for other players. I can only see my own, and that'll be cool. Looks like we're fixing some bugs with DK. Just overview of stuff. It seems they're buffing Shackle the Unworthy, which is awesome. They're buffing Death's Due, which is awesome. So Kyrian and Nightfade Death Knights will be happy about that. Brief overview of Demon Hunter. They're buffing Elysian Decree. Or I'm sorry, they're actually nerfing Elysian Decree for Vengeance Demon Hunters, but they're buffing Father of the Flame. So you'll just have a chance to spawn a demon. If you hit it with Throw Glaive, it explodes, dealing some damage. I kind of wish this would just be a demon that explodes and deals damage. I mean, something that's kind of more passive. It's cool that you interact with it, but this might get tedious in some situations. And yeah, we'll see how good the demon is at like following you. Like, does it spawn right next to you? What if it spawns while you're, moving the boss? We'll see how that goes. It seems that they've decreased the damage of Vengeance Demon Hunters across the board, so that'll be good, especially in Arena. I've been doing some more of that, so that is good. Vengeance was doing quite a bit more damage than I think tanks should. Unbound Chaos got buffed. This is a very substantial buff. Glad Demon Hunters are getting a little bit of love there. Resto Druid's got some buffs to Rejuve and Wild Growth. That's good stuff. We've buffed Adaptive Swarm, so if you're a Necrolord Druid, that's awesome. Hunter got some cool stuff. The Spitting Cobra talent got buffed by 260%. This reminds me of a Diablo 3 modifier, so maybe they'll take that talent, although I doubt it. Based upon what I've heard in the Discords, this is still going to be dead in the water. It doesn't matter if it casts. If it does more damage, it's just trash compared to the other ones. Death Chakram increase, so hunters that want to be Necrolord and get that awesome male transmog can. I'm excited to go Necrolord on my hunter actually. Flay Shot has been changed. It's buffed also. That's awesome. Mage Covenant abilities have been changed. Radiant Spark has been buffed. Deathborn has been buffed. Mirrors of Torment have been buffed for Arcane and Fire. Hopefully this evens things out. Mages are in a really rough spot right now where if you want to play Frost, you have to play one Covenant. If you want to play Fire, you have to play a different Covenant. And if you want to play Arcane, you have to play a different Covenant. So it'll be cool to have mages if they want to play for performance. They can just kind of pick one versus it depends on what spec you have. Mistweaver Monk's got some mana reduction stuff. That's cool. It's good to see Mistweaver getting some love. Monk definitely needs some love. And they've addressed some things that are good that they address the bugs, but it seems to be a pretty significant damage decrease for monks. So I'm not involved in all the math of all of this, but if you go to the Peak of Serenity Discord, there's a pretty big blog post about it if you want to get into more of this monk stuff if you play Windwalker. But this there's been bugs with Storm, Earth, and Fire basically since it came out in Mists of Pandaria, and they're just now getting used to it. I believe Stops made a video about it several months ago regarding the lack of attention Windwalker has been getting as far as its buffs go, or as far as its bugs go, I should say. So it's good that they're fixing these things, but it does actually result in a overall damage decrease for Windwalker, it seems. So hopefully Blizzard will give Windwalker a little bit of a damage boost to make up for the fact that bugs were doing damage for them. We'll see. Holy Paladin got a little bit of a nerf here. Holy Shock now costs more mana. I think that's good. Holy Paladin is very, very strong right now, and them having to think about their mana maybe a little bit would be a good idea. Ardent Defender having a heal has a visual effect. That's awesome. It's nice to see that you got healed versus just like, oh, hey, like my health might have moved there, but I took a hit right after, so you can't really tell. Vanquisher's Hammer for Necrolords got buffed because you get a Holy Power now. The extra spells from Ring Clarity now have a longer delay between hits. So this is a nerf, sort of, to the burst damage that Ret Paladins were capable of doing in PvP. But it's actually kind of a buff if you're using Ringing Clarity on like multiple targets. So I've been playing Ret Paladin recently in Mythic Plus, and if you're on several targets, you get like 5 Holy Power, and then you like waste some if you get extra procs. If there's a delay, there's a chance you can Ringing Clarity, Divine Storm, and then the Ringing Clarity will hit again, so you'll actually benefit from that additional Holy Power. That's kind of cool. It does do reduced damage in PvP. That's fine. Divine Toll was doing absolutely ridiculous damage in a PvP setting. Like, someone could be at 30-40% health, and you Divine Toll, and they just disappear from the face of the earth, and I have no gear in my Paladin, so this is a good idea. Spirit Shell got nerfed. That's good. Spirit Shell was an overwhelmingly powerful talent. I think Spirit Shell should be baseline for Discipline Priest, and then, you know, it can have this nerf and be useful, but it being baseline for Discipline would make more sense. Divine Hymn got a substantial buff. This now increases healing by 4%, stacking up to 5 times. So it's actually a 20% healing taken buff for Divine Hymn. This makes it a much stronger raid cooldown and lasts substantially longer. So this is excellent. I think that's fantastic. The Holy Priests are getting some love. Shadow Priest got some bug fixes. Fey Guardians, Wrathful Fairies, and Mind Games all got a little few changes here. You guys can get into that. There's also the Priest Discord if you want to learn more about how this will affect you. But it's good that Night Fae Priest got a little bit of a buff here. Happy to see that. Assassination Rogue got some cool stuff. At level 56, you get a new passive called Cut to the Chase. Venom extends the duration of your slice and dice by up to 3 seconds per combo point spent. This is awesome. This is one less maintenance buff for Assassination that'll make the playstyle a lot more smooth. Venomous Moves is now giving 8 energy, so it's going to be a lot faster playstyle. Assassination is going to feel a lot better, I think, playing this, and I'm excited to try this out. They fixed some bugs with Poison Bomb and Crimson Tempest. That's cool. Some Covenant abilities. There's a bug with Echoing Reprimand that was fixed. Serrated Bone Spike has been completely changed, though, just as a highlight. It now deals 300% increased damage on its initial hit, so that's awesome. And now grants 1 combo point plus one per active Bone Spike on the target, but it doesn't reset its charges. So this makes it a lot more impactful. This isn't just like a fire and forget like dot on something that like slowly ticks things down. It's now of a more like impactful rotational, like I'm going to use this and it's going to hit like a truck. So I'm excited to try this out. Hopefully it hits hard enough and feels good to play with. Flagellation no longer costs energy, so that's good. Its duration is reduced, so that's bad, but the haste is now granted immediately and no longer has a second activation, so that's cool. and its initial damage has been buffed, so it'll be a little bit more impactful. Again, it's not just a fire and forget sort of thing. The more Covenant abilities become like fire and forget, the weaker they are, in my opinion. Like, they're not interesting, and I think that they should just either be removed or changed. So they're not like that. You should think about using, especially something that has like a longer cooldown. Shaman. Ellie Shaman is getting some love in its AoE department, which is good. It's so weird to say this. I mean, playing World of Warcraft over the years, Ellie Shaman's AoE was absolute garbage for most of Shadowlands. So Chain Lightning getting 35% buff, that's amazing. Lightning Shield doing more damage, that's good. Earth Shock damage increase, that's good. Earthquake damage increase, that's good. Lava Beam damage increase, but they nerfed Lava Burst a little bit to compensate. That's good. It makes you care about your Earth Shock. That's awesome. Lava Lash damage increased for Enhancement Shaman. Stormkeeper buffing that for enhancement is excellent. These are all good changes to Shaman, I think. Bringing up enhancement and elementals damage, especially in specific situations where they were struggling, is a good idea. Their Covenant abilities got buffed, with the exception of Chain Harvest, I believe. Like, they haven't really buffed that, but the damage and healing increase for Elemental and Resto Shaman has been increased, but it was super strong for enhancement. So we'll see how that plays out. Warlock. Super happy about this Curse of Tongues change. It now lasts 1 minute rather than 30 seconds. Lasts 20 seconds against enemy players rather than 12. This is excellent. It's less of a pain in the ass to maintain all this stuff. These are just bug fixes to Affliction. The big one is the demonology stuff. So summon Dreadstalkers, Tyrant, Vile Fiend, Nether Portal Demons, basically all of your little imps that are waddling around, that are, you know, that like randomly get spawned. If you change targets before this change, they would just kind of sit on that target for a really long time. Now, if you tell your pet, like, hey, like, I'm attacking boss 1, some ads spawn, I need to switch to them, it would take a while for your pets to eventually get over there, if they came over there at all, based upon their duration. Now, they instantly swap when your main pet swaps. That's fantastic. I'm super happy about that. Call Dreadstalkers got an attack power increase, and Dreadbite and Dreadless damage increased by 10%. That's good. Demonology gets buffed. They were in the shitter right now, so it's good to see them getting some more love. Mastery Chaotic Energies now properly increases the damage of Corruption. If whichever Destro Warlock is out there casting Corruption, please say something in the comments. Were any of you using Corruption at all? Were any of you? I cannot think of a situation where a Destruction Warlock would use Corruption. Maybe with the PvP legendary that creates a slow, but even then, it seems like more of a maintenance buff than anything. In most PvE situations, no Destruction Warlock is casting Corruption ever. I mean, I guess it's a bug fix, but oh, okay, cool. Scouring Tithe now requires the Warlock to be facing the target. Okay, cool. They buffed Decimating Bolt. It's probably still garbage. We will see. Decimating Bolt used to be amazing in the Shadowlands beta, but it was completely gutted. Appending Catastrophe is doing more damage, so that's cool. Hopefully this makes Venthyr Warlock viable. I know a lot of Warlocks, including myself, don't really want to play Night Fae, so Impending Catastrophe would be pretty sweet if we could switch to that. We will wait for the Sims. Fury Warrior fixed some bugs here, some Covenant abilities. This is the big one for Warrior as far as Covenant abilities. The Conqueror's Banner, which was absolute garbage, switched to Brandish the Conqueror's Banner, granting 400 mastery and 30% movement speed to you and your 2 nearest allies, and preventing movement speed from being reduced below 100%. The cooldown is now 2 minutes, was 3, and the duration is now 15 seconds, was 20. And the rage generation is now 4 rage per second for arms and protection, and 6 rage per second for fury. Now, I don't know if this mastery buff is going to be as good as Condemn, because Condemn just does an absolute metric ton of damage, so we'll see. This might be more useful in PvP. It's good to see that they're at least paying attention to it. I would like for the Covenant abilities to be more balanced, but yeah. It is what it is. I am glad that they at least did something to it. And just general Covenant changes. So Fleshcraft has been redesigned, so it's got a shorter cast time. It's 3 seconds, what used to be 4, and it grants an absorb shield equal to 40% of your maximum health for 2 minutes, and I believe it was only 20% before. And also, while channeling, your damage taken is reduced by 20%. And you know, if you're a Necrolord, you know, like if you channel Fleshcraft next to powerful enemies or next to specific enemies, like in Plaguefall, for example, you would gain like special buffs because you're a Necrolord. Well, now moving near an enemy's corpse consumes their essence to reduce Fleshcraft's cooldown. Now, I don't know if this happens whether or not you have Fleshcraft actually active. If it does, that's amazing. I'm super excited to try this out in Plaguefall on Tuesday. What would suck is if you were using Fleshcraft ahead of time, then you'd have to like waddle back to the slimes you killed before to get the buffs and then come back. If this just happens passively, where like every time you walk over an enemy's corpse, 1, it reduces Fleshcraft's cooldown, and 2, it gives you the buffs from Plaguefall, that would be absolutely amazing. I'm super excited about that. They changed some soulbinds to benefit this and synergize with Fleshcraft, so that's cool. Some stuff for the Queen's Conservatory. You get permanent RSVPs if you're a Venthyr, if you like your Vampire Party stuff. Dungeon raid changes. So they slightly changed the Venthyr damage profile in Halls of Atonement. That's all right. I mean, they last a little bit longer, but they do less damage. They last 50% longer, but they do 50% less damage. Sanguine Depths, now like the cages are easier to use. That's cool. And they changed the Mythic Keystone Dungeon thing. So this is, I'm not happy about this. So now, like currently, if you complete a 16 key at any point, you always get a 15 key out of your vault, always. Now it's it will be the highest key you've ever completed -1 every single time, like every single week. So if you complete a 16 key this week, you'll get a 15 key the following week. But if you don't complete a 16 key again, you'll get a 14 key and then a 13 key, etc., 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 until you go up above that again. I mean, I guess it's cool. Like you want to be pushing, like if you want high keys, you need to be pushing high keys. I guess that makes sense, but it was very convenient having just a 15 come out of your vault every single week. This will make pugging a little bit more difficult, but we'll see. They fixed some necrotic stuff that was really annoying. Happy about that. The big change for this patch is the Valor System. So I'm sure you guys have heard in several other videos that we have a new change to the Valor System. So gear acquired from Mythic Dungeons after the patch, so none of your previous gear works, you can upgrade using Valor. The weekly Valor cap starts at 5,000, and it will increase by 750 Valor each week. So you can grind out a ton of Valor if you want. There will be a maximum number of Valor, a maximum number of 1,500 Valor on a character at a time. Gear that dropped before the patch is unable to be upgraded, like I said, but it's based upon the mythic pluses that you've completed. So if you've completed Keystone Explorer, then you get up to 207, but if you haven't, it's only 200. And if you want the full 220 item level, again, it's 220, not 223, and not 226. Kind of annoying, in my opinion, that it stops at 220, but I mean, I guess it is what it is. But you need Keystone Master in order to get the 220 item level. I don't necessarily know if I agree with it only being 220 item level for requiring Keystone Master. If you're capable of doing a 15 key, then it gives you 226 gear out of your vault. So this is kind of a mismatch, in my opinion. I would like to see these be like maybe 200, 210, 215, 223 or 226. Even if it was 223 and not 226, that kind of makes sense. I mean, yeah, I mean, it would make sense to be able to upgrade your gear all the way, just like you would in like the PvP system. There's a little bit of a mismatch there, but this can be tuned. Completing a mythic keystone after the timer will now reward a second item, but the item level of the second item will be slightly lower. So the example they used here is if you finish a mythic 7 dungeon but didn't complete it in time. You get a 200 item level piece and a 197 item level piece. This is stupid. Just give us 2 pieces instead of the thing. Like, just give us 2 pieces all the time, and then if you complete it, you give us a bonus piece. Like that's a fine way to gear up, especially because the item level out of the Mythic Plus dungeon and chest is so low to begin with. This is like, I'm not happy about this. That's enough, but I'm not happy about this. This doesn't make any sense. The Great Vault raid loot now requires 3, 6, and 9 bosses. That's awesome. You know, not having to complete the full 10 bosses. So if you're sitting, like for example, I sit on Sludge Fist for my guild. Like if, you know, not having to clear the entire instance to get the 3rd chance at loot is awesome. Potency conduits now drop in Castle Nathria. This is awesome. Super excited to get high level potency conduits out of a raid. That should have been in the game to begin with. I hope they learn their lesson for the next raid. There's some stuff if you get 40 renown, that's cool. Blah 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 blah. Rhinestone sunglasses can be transmogged. Okay, great. Now, this is going to be a slightly longer video, obviously. Rune carving legendaries. They've buffed a lot. Just going over some basic stuff. Pheromones increased haste. The Shamblers proc more often. Like there's a lot of legendary tuning overall, and I think that's pretty fantastic. Blood DK is getting some buffs. Unholy DK's underused legendaries are getting buffs. I'm surprised there's no frost stuff here. A little frustrating. Demon Hunter's getting some buffs to theirs as well. We got Feral Druid, got some changed. Resto Druid got some changed. Beast Mastery's getting a lot of love here. You know, lots more dire commands. Critical damage increased by 35%. So they just seem to be buffing all of the underused legendaries here. And that's really good to see. You guys can look through the past notes for your own specific class. I don't want to go over every single one. That would be a waste of everyone's time. A couple changes to the player versus player system, but yeah, I think that's it for this video. I'm really happy with these changes. The other ones that I wanted to touch base on actually is there's some cool stuff in Torghast. So one, there's the account-wide unlock that adds teleport nodes to all the long walkable chains in Torghast, so you can quickly cross the chains. So that's cool. And then there's more Torghast powers. So this is cool. I would like to see, like, where is our infinite Torghast? Like, where is infinite Torghast? We were promised that early Shadowlands Alpha. It was something that was like we could have a leaderboard system. Like there's a lot that they could do with Torghast that they're really not touching on. I was just having a conversation with some guildies last night about it. So this is good. Like, I'm glad that they're changing some powers. I'm glad that they're adding some new powers. I know that there's certain classes like Mage and Priest that have just like absolute boring powers, but Paladin has absolutely amazing ones. Warlock has some amazing ones. DK has some amazing ones. So hopefully these spice things up and make things more fun. But again, I really want to see more out of Torghast, to be completely honest with you. That's it for this one, guys. Did you get what you wanted out of this upcoming patch? I mean, if you play a Demon Hunter, is this Unbound Chaos thing enough? You know, if you played a Resto Druid, which are very underutilized right now, I mean, is this healing buff enough? Is this what you wanted to see? Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought. Let me know what changes you'd like to see coming up in the future. Good patch, or is this kind of a dud? What do you guys think of the Valor system? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.